Hey everybody, this is Jeff from Build an Aquarium Workshop, and we are back today at our 40-gallon reef tank. And today we're going to talk about reef snails. I've got 7 snails that I've had, all of these, that I'm going to go ahead and recommend. And I'll tell you a little bit about these snails. Hopefully you like that intro. You're able to see an Astra snail and I believe a Nassarius snail at work. And yeah, so if you have a reef tank, doesn't matter, hard corals, soft corals, you're going to want to put some snails. And most of them come from the Pacific, but there's a couple from the Caribbean area off the coast of Mexico. And, you know, so yeah, let's look at this tank. And you're going to see, yes, I have green bubble algae problems, but the snails won't do anything for that. And they won't do anything for, if you see any red algae, they're not going to do anything for that because that's a bacteria. All right, but for this, like if you look at the side of the glass here and you're seeing that. Now, not this. This right here is the pink algae. It's calcareous. That's the stuff you want, but if you don't want it on your glass, you know, you want to go ahead and wipe it off. But there is some matte algae back there as well, like a green. That we wouldn't want. And of course, on this, I can see the hair algae. The Astra snail was working on that hair algae on this. You can see it on the side there. Inside of those zoanthids, let's talk about snails, all right? All right, so our first reef snail. These are not in any order, folks. So I'm not trying to tell you these are the top 7, and you know, number 1, number 2. They're not in any order. Okay, I recommend all of these snails. You ultimately decide which ones you want. A variety is the best way to go because you got matte algae, you got hair algae, right? And you know, you have live rock. So here we go. Number 1, Astra snail. He's at work during daytime hours. All right, gotta love that. And they love the hair algae, as you saw in the intro to this video. He was cleaning off that rock with the long hair algae. Not all the snails are going to do that, so you know that's a nice one. So definitely got to have an Astra snail in your aquarium. And here's another one. This one's conical in shape, right? You'll notice that's what they are. They look like cones. And this guy just popped up here toward the front here, and he's moving. There you go. He's seen all that green algae. He's looking for more algae. All right, there's a huge Mexican turbo back there in between these pellies and this green button polyps. He's nestled back there in the rock, if you see him there. And it's really hard because a lot of snails during the daytime hours are like that. They plant themselves, and it's like they're sleeping. They're not doing their job, but that's okay because this guy's all over the place. He's big. Turbo snails get up to a couple inches. Definitely going to have some turbo snails come off the coast, the Gulf, coast of Mexico, and they do a phenomenal job because they get big, they move fast, and they can eat a lot of algae. I noticed that they like a lot of the matte algae. So if you see algae on the side of the glass, let's zoom back out here. Yeah, there's some algae right here. I don't know if you can see it there, but on the side of the glass, there's definitely algae. And they usually do a phenomenal job. So definitely number 2, the turbo, or Mexican turbo, as they are also known. All right, and number 3 is the Nassarius. As you can see why, looking at him moving around there, he's mostly under the sand, but has come out to play. They get up to about, I don't know, half an inch, something like that. They are a carnivore. They like fish waste and detritus. So Nassarius is definitely something you'll want to consider. And number 4 is this bumblebee snail. Now, I do have one in the other little 14-gallon rimless reef tank, but sorry, I couldn't find them in the rocks. They like to get into the little crevices of live rock, which makes them great. They are a carnivore. They get up to, I don't know, I think it's at an inch and a half. I think they stay pretty small. Detritus feeders, they do burrow in the sand. They do aerate your substrate as they go through the sand. And they like to clean the small crevices, so that's a benefit. And one word of note, being a carnivore, these will feed on other snails if you don't have enough food in there. So keep that in mind before you get one of these bumblebees. Very cool snail. All right, this you can see where this photo I got from. Number 5. Now, I had to get another picture because I couldn't find the seraph snail that I have in my aquarium, and that's okay. There's those conical shaped ones, right? If you've seen them, and they are also, let's see, the seraph, well, an inch and a half. Okay, they are, they'll eat algae, of course. They're out of the Caribbean, and they love detritus. So that is a great snail to have. You can get algae and detritus. Why not? That's definitely one I'd recommend. Number 6. I suppose I have one of these around in the aquarium, but they're kind of small sometimes. I don't see it. Here's a picture of it. This is the margarita snail. They like hair algae. They get up to about an inch. Nice thing about the margarita snail is they're usually available when the Mexican turbo, the turbos are not available. They're not collected through several months toward the fall winter, and but you can get these guys to grab the hair algae. So the margarita snail. There's another one. And the last one I'm going to recommend, number 7, the Nerite snail. Now, you can't really tell by this picture. It's not the greatest picture to see what that snail looks like. But yeah, the Nerite snail, what makes him great is that the Nerite snail likes that film algae. So that kind of matte algae that you see on the glass, that's what they like. They get up to about an inch. And again, all these snails you can find at mostly Petco's. I don't know about PetSmart's, not really Petco's, but you can also find it at a lot of the hobbyist stores, specialty stores like Reef stores, and other sometimes tropical fish stores. As long as they carry salt water, especially corals, the chances are they're going to have all these different snails. All right, so there you go. There's our video on reef snails, right? Herbivores, carnivores, all reef safe. And again, doing phenomenal jobs at eating everything from the different types of algae, green, brown, matte algae, hair algae. They eat detritus, fish waste, even fish food. They'll aerate. Some of them aerate the substrate, keep that substrate moving, which is great. So there's just a variety of benefits. So it's really in your best interest, if you have a reef tank, to get some of these snails. You don't have to get all of them. Some people will have one or two, but I'd recommend. There's really, for the most part, except for the bumblebee. Bumblebee, I'd be a little. I do have one, like I said, in the other tank, but I'd have reservations because in that tank, he was one of the first snails we put in, and some of the other snails, they died very quickly, and I think in the beginning there just wasn't enough food for him, and in fact, I think there was no fish in that tank, so I wasn't feeding the tank. Maybe the corals, but not the actual tank. So that was a big mistake on my part. So don't make that mistake, right? Or you're going to have that snail as with other snails. And the other tip I'll give you too is I used to always keep the reef hermit crabs with them, the small ones, blue leg, red legged. I wouldn't do those either. If those guys get hungry, they go after snails if they can. Those are like hors d'oeuvres. So that's just another tip. But that's another video, hermit crabs. Okay, so there you have it, folks. I hope this helps. And for all you reefers or all you people who are thinking about getting into reef, okay? And yeah, if you like the video, give me the thumbs up. Definitely want to subscribe to the channel, build a channel. I've got a lot more information on all sorts of stuff that's tropical fish hobbyist related. And okay, well, thanks folks for listening, and we're going to see you in that next video, okay? All right, have a good day.